Detroit basketball. Let's go, man. Detroit. Let's go, man. Welcome, man, guys. Let's talk about this game for a minute. I'm not sure if I can man, I'm really not sure if I can put highlights on here. I know the last time I got like I get copyrighted and the live got taken down. So we can just look at the box score. But first of all, this was a really entertaining game. I was very entertained watching this game. It came on while I was at the gym. So I probably got to the gym like an hour before the game, and it came on while I was still there. So I'm literally lifting on the treadmill watching this game, and it was highly entertaining. And I can't say, man, I just got to say I was so impressed with the Detroit Pistons, and I just thought it was so crazy how so many people switched up on the Detroit Pistons after just one game of the playoffs. They got 9 guys on the team that this is their first time playing. But I just saw a lot of stuff locally that was like discouraging. Like I seen news articles about I saw this one news article. It was like the title of it was like that this Pistons player just cost himself a bunch of money with one game, and they was talking about Jalen Duren, and he's just 21 years of age, so they're making articles like that about him after just one game. I'm listening to the radio today. First of all, I'm not sure. I thought this was kind of crazy. Listening to like the Detroit local sports radio station, and these guys are playing the Tigers regular season game over the Detroit Pistons playoff game. Now, I don't know if the playoffs got some sort of rights to where it's just for TV only and not a radio broadcast, but if that's not the case, I thought that was crazy. And then just listening to all those shows today, a lot of people was just trying to make it seem like they knew this was going to happen for the Detroit Pistons, talking about their game one collapse against the New York Knicks, and I just thought that was pretty crazy. You watched that game, the Detroit Pistons. I thought they played really well through 3 quarters. And by the end of the beginning of the fourth quarter, I think it was like 9 minutes left. The Detroit Pistons had an 8 point lead, a 9 point lead in Madison Square Garden. I don't think nobody could predict that. And then just down the stretch, like what happened to the Detroit Pistons, I thought that was something that was like catastrophic. We don't see things like that happen too often in the game of basketball, a 21-0 run. So I thought that was just something that was very catastrophic. If that doesn't happen, the Detroit Pistons, they're in a prime position to win to win 2 games on the road in the Garden. So for them to come back and bounce back in game two against the New York Knicks, it just proves what it just further extends what we've been seeing from the Detroit Pistons all season long, and that's emotional resilience. These guys have been emotionally resilient all season long, and we all know what it's due to how their season went last year, and they carried a chip on their shoulders into this season. For them to have that type of collapse in game one in the Garden and then go back into the Garden like that shit didn't even happen. I thought that was big time by the Detroit Pistons, and it starts with the best player on the team. This guy right here, Cade Cunningham. He came into this game ultra aggressive. You see, by far, he had the most shots on the team by the Detroit Pistons. He had 21 shots this game. He shot over 50% to the field. His aggressiveness also led to him getting to the free throw line a bunch of times. So he got to the free throw line 12 times, and he got up 21 shots. And that's what you want from your best player when you're down 0-1 on the road and you have a loss like that in game one. You want your best player to come out, especially Cade. He didn't have the best game in his playoff debut, but he bounces back. He finishes with, let's see, Cade Cunningham. He had at least 30. Where the points at? He had 33 points. He also had a double-double to go along with 12 rebounds. And he had 2 assists. Now, watching this game, the New York Knicks, they were kind of not, they weren't blissing Cade Cunningham as heavily as I thought as I thought they would, or I thought they should have. He saw a lot of one-on-one coverages. He was able to call out screens and get the matchups that he wanted, and it seems like nobody on the New York Knicks nobody can stay in front of Cade Cunningham, and those guys wasn't helping as much tonight, and he was able to have his way around the rim. I don't ever think. Let's see. I think Cade hit what he hit 1 3-pointer. He took 4 threes on the night, so he was living in that mid range area, living at the free throw line, and getting down to the rim. And then all the other guys on the Detroit Pistons, every single guy that stepped on the court tonight, they played an intricate role. Asar Thompson, I know he fouled out of this game, but these 20 minutes and 39 seconds he played were all dedicated to him hounding Jalen Brunson, and that's not an easy assignment. Jalen Brunson, he is a playoff riser. I watched Jalen Brunson last year in the playoffs, and I was so impressed because with each and every game that the lights got brighter, he attempted to elevate his play, and he usually did. So, Asar Thompson and Dennis Schroeder, they were the two main guys taking on that Jalen Brunson assignment tonight. And like I said, Jalen Brunson, he did finish with 37 points because he is like that. But what I like about what I saw from the Detroit Pistons was that that they was making those guys work. Adrian Harold Jr., big dub for the city, yes sir. A very big dub for the city, man. I'm so excited. Now the Detroit Pistons, they're in a prime position. They're in a prime position to come back to Detroit, Little Caesars Arena, and they can go up 2-1 on the New York Knicks. I'm definitely not in the situation to afford tickets to a game like that, but I just know the energy in that building is going to be special. But shout out to Asar Thompson and Dennis Schroeder. They did a great job this game with the assignment of Jalen Brunson. Like I said, I know he had 37, but he had to work for those 37 points. So, and also Dennis Schroeder, a great pickup at the NBA trade deadline with the injury of Jaden Ivey. They get another steady backup point guard, a point guard with experience, Dennis Schroeder. He has been in so many big-time games, so many big-time situations, going overseas, playing for Germany, helping them win. They didn't win it wasn't the Olympics that they won with his Germany team. It's like what is that, wow, what is that world basketball tournament called? It was not the Olympics, but they did win that with Dennis Schroeder being the leader, being the best player on that team. They also had Franz Wagner on that Germany team, but Dennis Schroeder, so big time this game. 20 points off the bench, 3 assists, and like I said, just another veteran presence for this young team that's gonna keep that helps keep that ship steady when Cade Cunningham is on and off the court. So a great job by Dennis Schroeder this game. Oh yeah, we definitely gonna have to appreciate that. Yes, the FIBA qualifier. Yep. Dennis Schroeder, he led Germany, him and Franz Wagner, to win that. Appreciate you, Adrian. And yeah, I'm with you, bro. We definitely gonna have to take it up another notch. I'm loving that we're coming back home from this for this game. And what I love about this win is that we didn't get the best games from our two wing shooters. We didn't get the best game from Malik Beasley, 2 of 9 from the field. Tim Hardaway Jr., 0 of 8 from the field. And now we get our role players, our shooters coming home. I definitely expect better out of those two guys, especially Malik Beasley. Watching him at the Little Caesars Arena all season long, he loves to play there. So I can expect a big game for Malik Beasley coming back to the crib. Also, it was a big time game for Tobias Harris. This is 2 steady back-to-back games from him. This is exactly what the Detroit Pistons brought Tobias Harris in for. Look, he had 13 rebounds. That is big time. He also scored 15 points. He had 20 plus points in game 1. So another solid performance by Tobias Harris. A steady hand or a steady option in the half court. He loves to get his mismatches, and he plays with his back to the basket. Knock down a 3 here and there. A very solid role player for the Detroit Pistons. So this win with as big as a game that Cade Cunningham had, it was definitely a win by committee. I thought it was a very entertaining game. And last and certainly not least, a solid outing for Jalen Duren. Still struggling a little bit, finding his way on the defensive side of the ball. I really wish he had the confidence to stick to Karl Anthony Towns, I know he has the athleticism to do so. He just needs to work on his discipline and his focus. But still, he's sticking with that Josh Hart assignment, and he's roaming off of him, kind of playing that free safety role. He got another game being in foul trouble, but he's coming along. I expect Jalen Duren. I expect him to have a solid game coming back home to Little Caesars Arena. But I love what I'm seeing from the Detroit Pistons. The defense was outstanding. They held the New York Knicks to under 100 points, and whenever you can do that in today's NBA with the way these guys can score the ball, you're doing something absolutely right. So game three game three is definitely going to be interesting, and I think whoever wins game three is going to give themselves a great chance to win the rest of the series. And I was honestly shocked at the way that the New York Knicks guarded Cade Cunningham tonight. Like I said, hey, look at this, look at this ad, man. That's kind of crazy. How do I X this off, man? I'm not trying to see Donovan Mitchell like that, man. But nonetheless, but nonetheless, I was kind of surprised at the way that the New York Knicks guarded Cade Cunningham. Not a lot of trapping, like I said, when he was calling for those screens, trying to get those guys that he wanted on the mismatch. The New York Knicks let him, and they made him play. Living at the free throw line, 12 free throw attempts, and then also shooting over 50% from the field on 21 shots. Cade Cunningham, he had his way tonight. So looking at game three, and we know in the playoffs, every single game, there's going to be some type of big time adjustment. So I can see the New York Knicks coming out the next game, and I can see them heavily trapping Cade Cunningham. And I would love to see how the Detroit Pistons are going to react to that. I definitely think they definitely have the weapons to do so. We see in game one, that's what the New York Knicks did. They did a lot of trapping on Cade Cunningham, and he had 12 assists. And I honestly thought they had a great chance of winning that game. It's just like something catastrophic that you don't see every day in the game of basketball happen to the Detroit Pistons. Like a 21-0 run is crazy, especially to give up to a team that you've had your way against all season long. And just like in this game, the Detroit Pistons, they were in full control of this game for most of the game. We saw the New York Knicks with that damn crowd is so crazy. But to see the Detroit Pistons stay composed this time, just after last time, and they didn't play too long ago. They played just one night ago. So for them to go through something like that on Saturday night, come back Monday night, be in full control again, and we see the New York Knicks, we kind of see the same thing happening in the fourth quarter. They're feeding off the crowd, they're making runs, but this time, and it says a lot about the Detroit Pistons, but we've been seeing this all season long, but it says a lot about these guys that they're so emotionally resilient. For them to be in that same situation just one night later, and this time be able to close out the job, I'm ecstatic about the Detroit Pistons going back to Little Caesars Arena. So I thought this was like I said, once again, a greatly coached game by Coach J.B. Bickerstaff, keeping his guys composed, keeping them level-headed. And then also, what's his name did not play? Isaiah Stewart. He's known for what the media paints him as is some type of rough rider, some type of bad basketball player, some type of tough guy. But and we look past that, Isaiah Stewart is actually a really, really solid basketball player. He's a really, really solid basketball player, and he's one of the best rim protectors in all of the NBA, and he does so many little things on the basketball court that does not show up on the box score. So for them to win without him tonight, very impressive by the Detroit Pistons. Paul Reed, he played 11 minutes, looks 3 field goals, 6 points. I think he had a steal in the block. Very solid minutes from Paul Reed. So, yeah, man. Playoff basketball is here. This is like my first time, like since I've been heavily watching basketball. I'm 24. So this is like the first time since I've been like heavily watching a game of basketball that I've seen the Detroit Pistons win a playoff game. And I know their last one was in 2008. Yep. Paul Reed was big. Yep, Paul Reed was real solid tonight. And I like Paul Reed's game, man. I like his size. He's fast. He's athletic, and he got really good hands. We might see some, if Isaiah Stewart doesn't go this game, next game, we might see more minutes from Paul Reed, because he played pretty solid. And you look at his plus minus Paul Reed on the court, he's a plus 13 for the game. So that's honestly pretty crazy in 11 minutes of play. But this was a big time win by the Detroit Pistons. I just want to come on here and talk about that, man. We are tied 1-1. I believe the next game is not on Wednesday, but it's probably going to be on Thursday with them traveling. They might get 2 nights off. So the atmosphere in downtown Detroit is crazy. Like I said, the radio, the local radio station playing the goddamn Tigers game over a playoff game. That's crazy. But it has to be some type of it has to be like some type of bargaining rights or something for something like that to be happening. But that's what I want to talk about with you guys tonight, man. Shout out to the Pistons. Shout out to Cade Cunningham. Shout out to every single player that touched the court tonight. They were very, very impactful. But and shout out to Adrian, man. It was nice talking to you, man. Thanks for commenting in the chat. I definitely appreciate it. I'm gonna try to start doing this a little more often. Definitely gonna be making a more in-depth video for the YouTube channel to tomorrow night. But for everyone who stopped by, I really appreciate it, man. I hope you guys have a great night. I'm definitely about to tune into this Nuggets and Clippers game. I think that's gonna be one of the best series in the first round because there's no telling where it's gonna go. But I'm about to shut this off, man. And I don't know. I don't know how to close out a live stream. It's a little bit different than closing out a YouTube video, man. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening.